This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You're greatly appreciated. Come on in, make yourself at home. You're greatly appreciated. This week, for my collection video in relationship to the Halloween season, I wanted to focus on my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Now, these aren't necessarily the scariest movies. To be honest, out of the 10, honestly, I think only one really kind of scared me, and that was when I was 12 or 13. The other ones, either they have this humongous creep factor to them, or they're just so well done. Either a combination of music, cinematography, and acting, all that together just makes for a fantastic horror movie. So these are my top 10. If you guys have a favorite horror movie, please add in the comments. Other than that, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm going to kick it off with my number 10 pick for my favorite horror pictures. My number 10 pick is the 1989 horror thriller Pet Sematary. This is directed by Mary Lambert, produced by Mitchell Gallen, written by Stephen King. This stars Dale Midkiff, Fred Gwynne. If you guys ever watch the old television show The Munsters, he was Herman Munster, Fred Gwynne. Denise Crosby, Brad Greenquist, Michael Lombard, Miko Hughes, Blaise Berdal, Susan Blumhurst. The plot behind this: after the Crease family's cat is accidentally killed, a friendly neighbor advises it's a burial in a mysterious nearby cemetery. And I believe I saw this in the theaters, and wasn't scary, but it was just very creepy, especially this one part where the wife's mother, I believe, was sickly. She was dying. She kept having flashbacks of her mother, and her mother had some kind of illness, and just her body was contorted. She kept calling out her name, and I remember after the movie, I believe I went to the midnight movies, getting home and just hearing her call her name in my head non-stop. So it didn't scare me, but it did creep me out though. So my number 10 pick, and this is a Paramount release, my number 10 pick for favorite horror pictures, Pet Sematary. My number 9 pick is the 1984 fantasy horror thriller Nightmare on Elm Street. This was directed and written by Wes Craven, produced by John H. Burroughs. This stars John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss, Sue Garcia, very young Johnny Depp. I think this was his first film, I believe. Charles Fleischer, Joseph Whipp, Robert Englund, of course, the great Freddy Krueger, Lynn Shay, Joe Unger. The plot behind this: teenagers in a small town are dropping like flies, apparently in the grip of mass hysteria causing their suicides. A cop's daughter, Nancy Thompson, traces the cause to a childhood molester, Freddy Krueger, who was buried alive by angry parents many years before. Krueger has now come back in the dreams of his killer's children, claiming their lives as his revenge. And you have to imagine, because I was actually there in 1984 at the theater seeing this, and this is just so different, so wild, essentially, you have an antagonist. You have a Freddy-like, Jason-like creature that doesn't attack you when you're awake. It attacks you when you're sleeping, and just the whole idea behind it, though, fantastic premise. Robert Englund, perfect casting for this. He had the perfect combination of charisma, charm, funny one-liners, but was still menacing at the same time. And again, you have to imagine this is 1984, so you had your slasher, you had your possession movies, but nothing quite like Freddy Krueger. The fingers with the knives, and obviously was a success. It spawned 7 movies, a remake. It was actually a television show, Nightmare on Elm Street. So my number 9 pick for favorite horror movies, Nightmare on Elm Street. And by the way, if I didn't mention this, this is a New Line Cinema release. My number 8 pick is the 2009 horror movie Human Centipede. This was directed and written by Tom Six, produced by Yona Six. This stars Dieter Lacer, Ashley C. Williams, Ashlyn Yenny, Ahiro Kitamura, Andreas Leopold. The plot behind this: during a stopover in Germany in the middle of a carefree road trip through Europe, 2 American girls find themselves alone at night when their car breaks down in the woods. Searching for help at a nearby villa, they're wooed into the clutches of a deranged retired surgeon who has a very disturbed vision. And if I might do a video on this, of a most disturbing movie I've ever seen. It is Human Centipede. If you haven't seen this, I'm not going to give it away. It is just disturbing. The premise that this surgeon has is, first of all, you're like, why? I guess my first question to myself watching this movie is like, who would have a thought like this to do this surgical procedure on a person? It is just so bizarre, so odd, so sadistic. I've yet to find anything as disturbing as Human Centipede. This is a Shout Factory release, IFC. So if you're just into shock horror, if you haven't seen this, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Definitely watch my number 8 pick, Human Centipede. My number 7 pick is the 2002 horror mystery, The Ring. This is directed by Gore Verbinski, produced by Benita Allen, written by Erin Kruger. This stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, David Dorfman, Brian Cox, Jane Alexander. The plot behind this: Rachel Keller is a journalist investigating a videotape that may have killed 4 teenagers. There is an urban legend about the tape. The viewer will die within 7 days of watching it. Rachel tracks down the video and watches it. Now she has just 7 days to unravel the mystery of the ring so she can save herself and her son. And this is a remake of a Japanese, I think it's Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. It's an Asian horror film, Ringu. And it seemed like in the early 2000s, there was a lot of remakes of Asian horror. I believe Shudder might have been one of them also. But the creepy thing about it, not necessarily the premise, the storyline though, was the little chick coming out the well. Just her movement, her erratic movement, that alone was creepy. And I think that was kind of a new special effect, because after that you start seeing more characters in horror movies move like that. But to my knowledge, and maybe they did it first over in Asia with their horror movies, Ringu and Shudder and things of that nature though, but as far as American cinema, you never seen any horror creatures, entities really move that way. And that was just that and the sound, the creaking sound that goes along with the movement, that just added to the full effect. So if you like that kind of creepy Asian influence horror, definitely check out The Ring. My number 6 pick is the 1976 horror mystery thriller, The Omen. This was directed by Richard Donner, produced by Harvey Bernard, written by David Seltzer. This stars Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, David Warner, Billy Whitelaw, Harvey Stevens, Patrick Thornton, Martin Benson, Robert Rady, Tommy Dugan, Johnny Stride, Anthony Nichols. The plot behind this: immediately after their miscarriage, the U.S. diplomat Robert Thorne adopts a newborn Damien without the knowledge of his wife. Yet, what he doesn't know is that their new son is the son of the devil. And I believe the first one I saw was on TV with Gregory Peck. And I think the reason why it was so creepy for me, I was a kid at the time. A little backstory, if you don't know, I went to Catholic schools from kindergarten to my senior year in high school, even though I wasn't Catholic. So Tuesday I went to Mass, Sunday I went to Southern Baptist service. So if you believe in God, you gotta believe in the devil, and just the whole aspect of the devil being reborn in this child. And they did an excellent job of casting this little creepy little kid right here. And it was just the atmosphere. You have fantastic actors such as Gregory Peck and Lee Remick, and it was just the overall vibe of it, though. It was just the devil's being reborn with the little 666 on the back of his head, though. Just well done movie. The sequel, Damien 2 with Sam Neill, I actually saw in the theater with my mom. Is that William Holden? That's a Sam Neill. William Holden, I guess. I think Sam Neill might have come later, though. But again, just well done. And part of it was like this weird kind of gothic music they had in there, which is just add to the overall creepiness effect. So my 6th pick for favorite horror movies, The Omen. My number 4 pick is the 1987 horror Hellraiser. This was directed and written by Clive Barker, produced by Mark Armstrong. This stars Andrew Robbins, Claire Higgins, Ashley Lawrence, Sean Chapman, Oliver Smith, Robert Hines, Anthony Allen, Leon Davis, Michael Cassidy, Frank Baker. The plot behind this: hedonist Frank Cotton finds a mysterious puzzle box that summons the Cenobites, who open the door to a dominion where pain and pleasure are indivisible. And I think I said this is Shout Factory. This is RLJ. And I believe the first time I saw this was probably on VHS. I know I saw the second one in the theaters because I still have the movie tickets. This was a new experience for horror for me. I've never at the time experienced, I guess you want to call it torture horror. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy, there was more slasher. This was just unspeakable amount of kind of torture they're doing to these people. And with character Pinhead, he kind of does it with flair, and they make it where it's almost this erotic thing, just like pain and pleasure, they're indivisible. And just the whole Cenobites, the other dimension, basically sucking you in to a potentially eternity of pain and torture. Fabulous idea. They nailed it with Hellraiser. That's why they did like 4 or 5 or 6 other Hellraisers after this, though. But the original Hellraiser, Clive Barker, classic. Gets no better than this. So my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 favorite pick for horror movies, Hellraiser. My number 4 pick is the 2019 horror mystery thriller, Us. This was directed and written by Jordan Peele, produced by Jason Blum. This stars Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss, Tim Heidecker, Shahadi Wright Joseph, even Alex
Yahya Abdul Mateen, Anna Diop. The plot behind this: husband and wife Gabe and Adeline Wilson take their kids to their beach house expecting to unplug and unwind with friends. But as the night descends, their serenity turns to tension and chaos when some shocking visitors arrive uninvited. And this is one of my favorite movies because historically, if you watch horror, pretty much no way to get around it. Usually black people would die like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So, and traditionally, speaking as a black person, when it comes to something sketchy or potentially tiresome, we're not that inquisitive. It's just like, I just saw, somebody rise out the graveyard. Let's check it out. No, we don't do shit like that. It's just generally not us. But I love Jordan Peele's style and flair of the movie. One of the little things that I loved, there was a song by the Loonies called I Got Five on it. Throughout the movie, he loops the song, but it's in different, it's slowed up, it's chopped up, it's screwed up, but it's still I Got Five on it, but sometimes in a more sinister mood though. It's a well-told story, something different, not like your typical horror story, and it was fun, it's entertaining, so it's fun to see myself on the big screen in all facets of genre, just not action, drama, but also horror. So that's why my number 4 pick, Jordan Peele's Us. And this is a universal release. My number 3 pick is the 2018 drama horror mystery thriller Hereditary. This was directed and written by Ari Aster, produced by Gabriel Byrne. I wonder if Gabriel Byrne, the actor. This stars, I guess it is Gabriel Byrne, the actor. This stars Alex Wolff, Gabriel Byrne, Toni Collette, Millie Shapiro, Christy Summerhays, Morgan Lund, Mallory Bechtel, Jack Brown, Harrison Nell, Brianna Rachels. The plot behind this: following the death of the Leaf family matriarch, Annie and her children uncover disturbing secrets about their heritage. Their daily lives are not only impacted, but they also become entangled in a chilling fate from which they can't escape, driving them to the brink of madness. And this is another movie, this is Lionsgate, where presentation was everything. It was just 2 scenes in particular that just kind of leave you like dumbfounded. One, I'll give you a hint, a lady's trying to decapitate herself. That scene it still replays in my head. The overall story is somewhat similar to kind of a Rosemary's Baby, that type of vibe. But just the presentation and some of the events that happen, they just catch you so you're not expecting it. You really can't get caught off balance when a lot of these things happen, and that just kind of throws you off. Everything seems to be going on this kind of even keel, and they throw this weird, bizarre, horrific thing at you, and those things that really makes the movie. It's kind of like the little things, the subtle things that at unexpected moments really make Hereditary an exceptional movie. As you can see, most of the movies I've picked out are like from the 70s, 80s, maybe one from the 90s, but these are probably Us and this, to me, have been one of the best, two of the best horror movies in the past couple decades. So my number 3 pick, Hereditary. My number 2 pick is the 1980 horror thriller, The Shining. This was directed by Stanley Kubrick, produced by Robert Fryer, written by Stephen King. This stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Danny Lloyd, Scatman Crothers, Barry Nelson, Philip Stone, Joe Turkel, Ann Jackson, Tony Burton. The plot behind this: Jack Torrance accepts a caretaker job at the Overlook Hotel, where he, along with his wife Wendy and their son Danny, must have isolated from the rest of the world for the winter, but they are prepared for the madness that lurks within. This was just like the perfect storm with a Stephen King story, Stanley Kubrick directing it, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall starring in it. Shelley Duvall is probably one of the best actresses I've seen that can convey horror. You look at her as like, okay, is she acting or is this for real? I mean, she was that convincing. Jack Nicholson, been a Jack Nicholson fan since One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I love his style. He just seemed like a really laid-back, cool person. So when he gets these over-the-top characters, just like Jack Torrance, is monumental. It's history in the making as far as film is concerned. This is probably, again, one of the best horror films I've ever seen. It's creepy, it's well-paced, great actors, great actresses, great directing, great storyline, the creepy music to go with it, though. Just a perfect storm, which makes it into a perfect horror movie. My number 2 pick, of course, is a Warner Brothers release, The Shining. The Shining. And my number 1 pick, which I believe, if my memory's correct, the only movie to actually really scare me, the 1973 drama horror, The Exorcist. This was directed by William Friedkin, produced by William Peter Blatty, written by William Peter Blatty. This stars Ellen Burstyn, Max Van Sydow, Lee J. Cobb, Kitty Wynn, Jack McGowan, Jason Miller, Linda Blair, William O'Malley, Barton Heyman, Peter Masterson. The plot behind this one, a charming 12-year-old girl takes on the characteristics and voices of others. Doctors say there is nothing they can do. As people begin to die, the girl's mother realizes her daughter has been possessed by the devil. Her daughter's only possible hope lies with 2 priests and the ancient rite of demonic exorcism. Again, this came out in 1973. So this is like a different type of horror picture. You had a great storyline, great actors and actresses. I think at the time, actors and actresses kind of stayed away from horror movies. That was kind of more of a B genre thing. But you had A-listers acting, which adds to the story, as well as a very new kind of premise with a little girl being possessed and her head turning around and just the craziness that happens. That freaked me out as a kid because I think I saw it on TV. I couldn't have been more than 12 or 13 when I saw it. Only thing I could think of that night was that little chick's head turning around 360. So, fantastic movie. The sequels, or the other in the franchise, second one wasn't so great, third one was okay, but none of them, to me, were as impacting and just scary, overall creepy as The Exorcist. And of course, this is a Warner Brothers release. And these are my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. If you made this far in the video, go ahead and smash the like, give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, and if you have your favorite top 10 horror movies that's not in here, please leave it in the comments. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.